Hey guys, welcome to our last lesson of the week. It's going to be a quick one. It's about language because that's how we think, and that's what we've been talking this week about. And last week memory, this week thinking, and what we think in is language. And if this will pop up any moment, it's loading. There we go. Language. Let me make myself a little smaller. Let me put me up here a little bit and minimize this puppy. Okay, so let's talk about what language is. And excuse the fact that I have no makeup on and my hair looks like that. But you live and you learn, and I have to start making dinner in about 5 minutes. So we're gonna get through this quickly. So, language is anything that can be spoken, it can be written, it can be signed. So, any way that information is communicated, either by spoken, written, or signed language. And all language contains two things it contains phonemes, and phonemes are just any sound of a language. So think of all the letters of the alphabet have a sound. Some letters have two sounds, like vowels. There's like a long A and a short A, like A as an apple. And I'm trying to think of an A where it says its name, where it's like ape. So A as an apple, and A as an ape. So sometimes different letters have different sounds, and there's sometimes different combos of letters like SH or TH or CH. So English has about 44, which is the letters of the alphabet, and then plus a couple of double combos, like the QU, like in quack. But there's also morphemes. Morphemes contains a meaning. So the word phonemes just makes a sound, but morphemes are a little bit more than that. It's a sound that carries meaning. So if you add like the letter S to a word, it makes it plural. That carries meaning. The letter I means like me, as in I like this book. Prefixes and suffixes all carry meaning, whether it's ing or ed for past tense, like I studied yesterday, something like that. So sounds, it's just going to be phonemes, but sounds with meaning are morphemes. And let's talk about grammar. Grammar. When people say, like, you're such a grammar Nazi, I get that Nazi is a bad connotation, but I don't know why speaking correct English is such a bad thing. So, whatever. Okay, the two rules of grammar. And grammar just means the rules of language. There's semantics and syntax. Okay, so semantics is changing the meaning of maybe using the wrong, oh my gosh, I can't speak. Sometimes when you use like the wrong there or the wrong, what's another one that people mess up on a lot? They might have used the wrong there, or they might use the wrong, your. It changed the meaning of it. It's like you're mean, like you are mean, or you're mean what? You're mean cat. So when they use the wrong word, it changes the meaning of the sentence. Also, if you were conjugated incorrectly, like you say things like I ranning yesterday, you conjugated it incorrectly. That's semantics. So either you choose the wrong word, and therefore it changes the meaning, or you conjugate it incorrectly. That's semantics. Syntax is the order of which we put words in a sentence. In English, we say White House, but in Spanish, they say Casa Blanca, which is house white. And in English, we would say Blanca Casa, White House. But it's just different rules for the different language. So we tend to, as like English speakers, we tend to describe the item before we say what it is. We say like the angry, gray, snarling, you have no idea what I'm talking about, cat. While in Spanish, you would talk about the cat, you would say the cat, and then you would start to describe it. It's just the different, like Yoda in Star Wars. Disappointed I am. he is changing the order of the words. He has different syntax for his language. Here is some speech development of when we learn speech. Just know that we speak one word around 1 year of age, and we speak two words around 2 years of age. And then after that, we kind of start speaking in complete sentences. So 1 year old, one word: ball, mom, bottle, something like that. 2 years of age, milk bottle, mom, no, dog, furry, things like that. But we don't say full sentences like the dog is furry and mom, I would like a bottle of milk. We don't say that until after 2. Okay, two big guys that talked about how we develop language. You know B.F. Skinner. Hopefully you remember him from learning and Skinner's box and positive and negative reinforcement. So how do you think he would say we would learn language? Well, reinforcement. Not so much punishment, but reinforcement. First we imitate it, and then it's reinforced. So babies, when they're like infants, they babble, and all babbling sounds the same of all different languages. Whether the kid is going to be speaking Chinese or Italian or French or English, all the babbling sounds the same. And certain babbles in certain languages kind of sound like words that for that language. So like if it was an English speaking household and a baby is just babbling blah 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 and then doesn't mean anything, but all of a sudden they're accidentally going to say like blah 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 da da, and it's like, oh my gosh, did the baby say dada? And they're going to get reinforced by hugs and love and kisses, and the baby's going to be like, I don't know what I just did, but I'm going to keep saying that because I got a lot of attention, I got a lot of love when I did that. And so that's how they imitate the sounds that they hear, and then they get reinforced for the sounds that make sense for that household. That's B.F. Skinner. He says we learn language by reinforcement. Noam Chomsky says, no, we actually don't learn language at all. Language is innate. We're born knowing language. And he came up with this idea of this language acquisition device. He says that there's this box. I don't know if he's talking literally box or metaphorically box, but he says there's this box in our head called the language acquisition device. And all of a sudden, it just turns on and we know language. I think that kind of explains why all of a sudden kids around 2.5 years age, they start speaking in full sentences. When just a week ago, they were just putting 2, maybe 3 words together. Now it's like full on sentences. Where did that come from? And kids say a lot of things that may not have been reinforced in their household or by anyone. So, the whole idea of kids say the darndest things. Where is this language coming from? How are they saying these things? Noam Chomsky would say, well, their language device turned on, that little box in their head. Okay, and last thing for today, for our lesson, is Benjamin Lee Whorf. And he came up with linguistic determinism, which is one of my favorite things. So the question is posed, does our language determine our thought process? Or does our thought process determine our language? Meaning, do we think like we talk, or do we talk like we think? And he actually has evidence that one of those ideas is more right than the other. It's language that determines how we think. If there's no language to describe it, we can't possibly think about it. And the language determines the way we think. And there's an example of a Hopi tribe, I don't know. They don't have a past tense. They have a we are and a we will be, but they don't have a we were, which means they can't describe things that happened in the past. And so they rarely think or talk about events in the past. They're very future-oriented and present-oriented, but not past-oriented. There's even a dialect in Italy of Italian. It's like around Sicily, and there's a Sicilian dialect that has no future tense. They have a we were and we are, but they don't have a way to describe we will. And so they'd say in Italy, in southern Italy, things never get done on time. Deadlines don't mean anything because people can't even think about the future. They can't think about what will happen in the future because there's no way to express it. That how can you think about something when there's no language first? And so if there's no way to talk about it, you can't possibly think about it. So it's almost like trying to think of a color that doesn't exist yet. It's like how would you even think about that by never seeing? Yeah, the language, the way to describe it has to come first before you can think about it. Okay, that's all we have today for language. You have your big assignment for the week today. It's going to be a big Google form. Please use your notes, but it's going to be about all cognition, everything we've talked about so far, memory, thinking, language. And I will see you guys next week. Have a great Easter. Have a great Easter. And I was going to say Easter break, but what distinguishes one day from the next, I don't know anymore. But either way, whatever day, night, or time of the hour it is, have a good one. Bye.